Hello, and welcome to my presentation on professional philosophy of health education. My name is Kelly Flowers, and I'm a student in the Masters of Science program in Health Education and Behavior at the University of Florida. This presentation fulfills a requirement for HSC 6037, Philosophy and Principles of Health Education. Today I'm going to cover my professional health philosophy. I will start out by discussing my personal beliefs concerning health and health education and promotion, and then describe critical past experiences and how these experiences have shaped my philosophy. So in short, I'm going to talk to you a little bit of my past, how it has shaped my present, and hopefully how it will affect my future. I want to start out by providing this definition that was presented at the International Health Conference in New York in June 1946, and then entered into force on April 7, 1948 by the World Health Organization. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. At the time of this formulation of this definition, it was groundbreaking because of the breadth and the ambition. It overcame the negative definition of health as the absence of disease and included the physical, mental, and social domains. Although the definition has been criticized over the past 70 years, it has never been changed. This definition has been used in a variety of ads in multiple countries. I was lucky enough to grow up in Gainesville, Florida, and I have had the fortunate opportunity to live a few decades there. Growing up, I was the oldest sibling, and I was tasked with being the example for my two younger brothers. That means achieving good grades in school, being an active member of the community by completing public service, and by being physically active. This picture looks similar to the yard behind my parents' house when I was growing up. So I got to spend quality time outside, playing in the creek, looking for arrowheads, and just being an overall physically active child. During the summer months, my parents would enroll me in swim camp. It was a great opportunity to make friends while being physically active. Freshman year of high school arrived, and I was set with the choice of either getting a job or participating in a sport. I joined the Gainesville High School swim team. My first year, I was the only freshman at Gainesville High that made the state championships, and by my senior year, I was going on recruiting trips to large Division I universities. As I was obtaining more accolades in the pool, I worked harder and longer hours to keep progressing and achieving honors. The swim team became my second family. 6 hours a day on weekdays and 5 hours on weekends, I was practicing my sport. This left very little room for other social extracurricular activities. Upon graduating from high school, I chose to matriculate to Michigan State University and swam all 4 years of my undergraduate career. Barber, Eccles, and Stone found that lower levels of social isolation, positive educational and occupational outcomes occurred due to the participation in sports. Being a student athlete provided a social support system that is not available to other college athletes. I took classes with members of the swim team as well as other athletes. We would study together and support one another academically and athletically. At Michigan State University, they focused 4 large dormitories for student athletes. So fortunately, we lived together, we ate together, we went to school together, and then we played sports with one another. The NCAA was responsible for the SCORE study. What they did was they looked at student athletes who had graduated high school in 1996 that were identified from records gathered at the time of their initial entry into Division I college athletics. This survey was designed to gather in-depth information in multiple areas. It included athletic experiences, academic experiences, social experiences, recruitment process, health and well-being, time commitments, on-campus support, finances, opportunity to provide open-ended comments, and demographic data. The results of the SCORE survey provided that 81% of former college athletes were satisfied or completely satisfied with their lives. Additionally, former Division I athletes reported higher self-esteem, lower prevalence of tobacco usage, very low incidence of drug use, and were more physically active than the general population, thus providing evidence that participating in college athletics has a positive long-term effect on mental and physical health. 90% of the student athletes credit their college athletic experience with having a positive impact on increasing their personal responsibility, homing their teamwork skills, and enhancing their work ethic. High percentages also reported that college sports had had a positive effect on their leadership skills, their values and ethics, self-confidence, time management, understanding of diverse cultures, study skills, and commitment to volunteerism. About 90% of student athletes across Division I athletics said that team success is important to them, but also that they have the opportunity to compete frequently and at a high level. Finally, nearly 80% noted that being viewed as a team leader is important to them. Evidence also suggests that physical activity and exercise improve self-image, social skills, cognitive functioning, reduces the symptoms of anxiety, and alters aspects of coronary-prone behavior and physiological response to stressors. As a former athlete, you want to continue to maintain good health and not allow it to diminish. As my college coach used to tell the team, the stopwatch doesn't care if you've had a good or a bad day. After college, I needed a way to be physically active and maintain my competitive needs, as well as provide some relief from life stressors. I started running marathons in my mid-30s, and a year ago, I joined a local running club. Now running has become my outlet for both physical fitness and mental stress. Research has also suggested that being physically active in a group setting can have positive effects physically and mentally. And here's a quick 6 reasons to join a group. As you can see from this slide, this is the track club that I have joined. We all seem very happy, and we are, even though we just finished a race. So the quick 6 reasons to join a group. 1, motivation. Group fitness is a great way to help motivate yourself and others to dig deeper and push harder in workouts. 2, structure. Group fitness is a great way to get a work in without having to think or plan. For my track club, my coach gives me a workout, and it's not just go run for 30 minutes. It could be some sprints. It could be some tempo runs. You never know. Which is 3, variety. It helps prevent boredom. 4, proper form. My coach is able to help me be the most efficient runner possible. 5, accountability. This is a great way to keep yourself accountable for your workouts. If you signed up and it's on your schedule, there's a good chance you won't skip it. And finally, it's fun. Group fitness can be fun between the workout and the group of people motivating each other along the way. Now, what happens when I'm unable to run? I find that I experience psychological effects of running loss. Chan postulated that prevented runners, people who were unable to run for 2 weeks, who had been consistent runners, displayed significantly greater symptoms of psychological distress, including depression, anxiety, confusion, all over mood disturbance, and lower self-esteem than did continuing runners. Deprivation of running may result in withdrawal symptoms and psychological distress for those who rely on running as a coping strategy for stress reduction and who feel dependent upon the psychological reinforcements of running. I personally use running as my therapy, so I do exhibit what Chan postulated as prevented runners. To Healthy People 2020. According to Healthy People 2020, they discussed a term called health-related quality of life. This is a multi-dimensional concept that includes domains related to physical, mental, emotional, and social functioning. Positive attributes result in benefits to health, work, family, economics, and is referred to as well-being. If a person has a high level of well-being, they are more productive at work and are more active in the community. Therefore, if you do experience these physical and emotional and mental and social functionings, you can do that while being physically active, such as in group fitness. As Ben Franklin put it, with a focus on physical activity and well-being and its physical, social, and psychological benefits, my philosophy is to educate by example. Ben Franklin said it best, well done is better than well said. Now I'd like to discuss the health education and promotional role that I see in my future. I'd like to provide a detailed account about my role in health education and promotion, what I will personally contribute, and how I can be an inspiration to others. As a health education specialist, I would like to work with college athletes as they transition out of being a college athlete and into their role as a professional. In my experience, you complete your last competition in college, and then the school no longer identifies you as something quote-unquote special. This is a very difficult concept to grasp. Student athletes need to have the appropriate coping skills and support from others as they transition out of that role. Unfortunately, this transition is not always the athlete's choice. Sometimes they have to transition out due to injury, deselection, which is being cut from the team, academic ineligibility, and funding. Some of these are out of the athlete's control. My role as a health education specialist would be to help these athletes with finding resources for mental health issues, career choices, and alternative options for physical activities. As college athletes transition out of this role, they can experience an increased risk for depression, anxiety, loss of identity, or substance abuse. Their sport could also have mood-enhancing benefits that would no longer exist. They will need to find alternative exercises or activities to participate in to provide them that healthy outlet for their physical needs. Additionally, this group has identified with being an athlete for most of their lives. When this identity no longer exists, they will need to determine who they are without the title of athlete. In addition to previously mentioned factors, the variable known as athletic identity should be considered. Athletic identity refers to the strength in which athletes identify themselves as athletes and desires others to acknowledge their status in sports. In other words, the most important characteristic for that individual is being an athlete versus being a son or daughter, brother or sister, or student. More specifically, sport is the most important variable in the athlete's life. Some athletes identify with their athletic role so closely their feelings of self-worth depend upon their most recent success or failure in sports. While working as a health education specialist, I would help keep sports in perspective to help athletes remind themselves of what they've already accomplished. Whether it's making the all-defensive team, a college team, an all-star team in a professional sport, these represent major sports accomplishments for which they should be proud. Also, non-sports accomplishments may be highlighted, such as making the dean's list, supporting a charity, or being a good parent. Having athletes step back and think of their past successes in sports and life can be comforting and refreshing. Not an easy task when circumstances aren't going as expected. I would also assist athletes with transferring their skills they required in their sport that can be used in the real world. As a former athlete, I know the struggles of trying to adjust. I will use my life experiences along with my skill and education I gained from this program to help former college athletes transition. This is the optional option for me. I can employ my background to share in a meaningful manner with others. I want to thank you for your time today listening to my presentation, and I look forward to comments and feedback. I hope you have a great day.